Hello, and welcome to Emerson Elementary Title I presents Supporting Reading at Home. Today we're going to focus on the school improvement goal of to increase the number of students scoring at or above the grade level midpoint Lexile level. To get started, what is a Lexile? Lexiles are units that measure text readability. They also measure reading ability by determining the level of text a reader can comprehend. So lex is referring to words, and ile is referring to measures. Here at Emerson, we have 4 different ways that we can determine your child's Lexile. The new universal screener that we're taking 3 times a year is called the MAP assessment. We also, in grades 3 through 5, take the reading inventory. Acadience, also known as DIBELS, is another way that we can see a child's Lexile. And then also in grades 3 through 5, Georgia Milestones. Please contact your child's homeroom teacher if you do not know his or her Lexile level, and they'll be glad to share that with you. So what do we use Lexiles for? Lexile measures help teachers and parents select appropriate books for students. There are a variety of Lexiles within each classroom, so this really helps a teacher to tailor reading needs to each student, to help us really individualize their reading instruction. So I have my child's Lexile, now what? The best way to explain this is to give an example. So let's take Susie. She brings a report home and she has a Lexile level of 450. So the range of material that Susie should be reading is going to be between a Lexile of 350 and 500. So they give you a range of 100 below their actual Lexile and 50 above. You don't want to read books that are too challenging, but you also don't want to read books that are too easy, because when they're reading, they need to be reading at least 75% comprehension level. So this measure will help you determine books that are appropriate for them to be reading on their level. So some strategies at home to help your child be successful is to share your reading interest. Let them know what excites you and what you're interested in reading. If your child isn't an independent reader yet, continue to practice their sight words. And then for all reading abilities, read for at least 20 minutes a day, whether you're reading to your child or your child is reading to you. And when you are reading, ask questions about what your child has read. Use your child's Lexile level to guide reading choices, and consider using online resources to motivate and build vocabulary. Here is a resource where you can check Lexile levels of books that you may have at home. And also, you can contact your child's teacher about using Newsela, which is another online resource. And of course, public library systems. When you're asking your child questions, you could consider the strategy of my retelling hand. So ask them about the characters. Who are the people, animals, or creatures? The setting, when and where does the story take place? A problem, what went wrong in the story? The events in the story, what happened in the beginning, the middle, and the end? And then finally, the solution. How was the problem fixed or resolved? As I mentioned before, reading for 20 minutes a day is another great strategy to do at home. I want you to look at this chart. So we have student A, B, and C. So a little math built into today's reading is, if a student reads for 20 minutes a day, by the end of the year, they potentially could read about 1,800,000 words. Not only is the word count important, but those students usually score much higher on standardized tests. Student B, they only read for 5 minutes a day, they've only read about 282,000 words by the end of the year. And you look, their percentile on standardized test also decreases. Student C, they read for a minute a day, maybe just some directions for a worksheet at school. Didn't really sit down and open up a book and read for enjoyment. They've only ended up reading 8,000 words a year. And the chances of them scoring in a higher percentile on standardized tests continues to decrease. So circling back to our school improvement goal of increasing the percent of students that are at or above the Lexile midpoint, this is factored in from students in grades 3, 4, and 5 when taking the Georgia Milestones end of grade assessment. So at the end of 3rd grade, the midpoint is 670. At the end of 4th grade, 840. And at the end of 5th grade, a 920. So if a student is reading at this Lexile level at the end of those grade levels, then they would be considered at or above proficient on the Georgia Milestones end of grade assessment. So Lexile measures are the gold standard for college and career readiness. If we can get all of our students reading at or above their Lexile midpoint by the end of the school year, then we're setting them up for success in the next grade level and beyond. So thanks for tuning in today, and if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at the school. My name is Carrie Hammond, and I am the instructional lead teacher. I look forward to hearing from you, and see you soon.